Hey YouTube, welcome to my channel. I, Michael Moyer, aka Shinta-sama, watch and review different anime in order to help you decide whether or not you want to watch them. This video is just basically an introduction to my channel and my system of doing things. When I review an anime, I use 5 aspects in order to rate it. These 5 are story, characters, art, voice acting, and music. Now you may ask, Shinta, why these 5? Or you may not. But let's just pretend you did in order to lengthen the video. So, in order to answer your question, I'll go over each aspect in detail, starting with the story. To me, the story is the most important part of an anime. Basically what makes or breaks it. You know, the difference between an anime being a masterpiece or a piece of trash. This is going to be the aspect that I grade the harshest, because if an anime doesn't get me hooked with the story in the first episode, chances are I'm not going to continue watching that anime. I'm a pretty harsh critic, so chances are in my reviews, not many anime are going to be getting a 5 out of 5 for the story. That's really all I have to say about the story, so let's move on to the next aspect, the characters. The equation is simple. You relate with the characters, you relate with the anime. The character aspect ties in very closely with the story aspect in that without good characters, you simply cannot have a good story. You just can't. It defies the laws of physics or something. This is simply because the story revolves around the characters. The characters are what keep the story moving. So naturally, without good characters, your story is going to be pretty crappy. Wonder what that was. But anyway, yeah, the characters are probably not going to get 5s often either. That said, let's move on to our next aspect, the art. Okay, so while it may not play quite as big of a part of an anime as the story or the characters, the art is still a pretty important aspect. Why? Because chances are when you hear about an anime, you're going to go look it up, and you're going to see some pictures. And based on those pictures, you're going to either think, dude, this anime looks pretty freaking awesome, or, ew. So I'd say good art is a pretty important thing to having a good anime, because it gives you your first impression of the anime before you've even started watching it. So in some ways it's the most powerful part of an anime, because you don't even have to watch the anime, but you can still kind of tell whether you're going to like it or not. It's not so much telling you whether the anime is good or not. It's just telling you what your opinion's going to be on the anime, if you know what I mean. It is getting darker in here, and that's because the sun is going down. Actually, the sun's not moving at all, it's the earth moving, but anyway, let's move on to our next aspect, and that is the voice acting. So, if you're an anime fan, you've seen those anime where the voice acting is super dramatic, and it's like, Kurosaki Yamakawa, Kamehameha! And then you've probably also seen those ones where the voice actors really could care less about their job. The reason I chose voice acting as my 4th aspect was because voice acting is the emotional aspect of an anime. It makes you feel different things when they're supposed to be felt, or it doesn't do that because it's not good. But usually it is good, which is a good thing, so most anime will be getting high ratings for voice acting. So yeah, there's not much else to say about voice acting, so let's move on to our final aspect, music. one of those anime that has just like a really like mundane intro that makes you want to skip it every episode just to get to the good part, which is like the story. It may seem like I'm being picky because the intro is by far not the most important part of an anime. You want to have a cool intro song and a good intro video to go along with that song, because I mean, if you have a cool intro song, then chances are they're gonna keep watching the anime. But if you don't have a cool intro song, they're just gonna be like, "Fool, I ain't watching this. Intro ain't cool." So create a good intro, but you've also got to create a story that lives up to the intro. Because I mean, if people watch the intro and they're like, "Oh, this is so cool," but then the crappy story comes and they're like, "Oh, I watched this? Why?" Do you get what I'm saying? If you have a story that meets people's expectations, you want a cool intro that raises their expectations first. So I'm gonna grade music of an anime pretty harshly, but not as harshly as like the story or the characters. Basically like moderate type thing. And finally, when all is said and done, it all comes down to the final rating. The system I use for final rating is simple. I'm just going to take all the ratings from all the 5 aspects and average them out. So basically the final rating is going to fairly accurately represent what I thought of the entire anime. Story, characters, art, voice acting, and music. Then, after I give the final rating, I'm going to tell you, in my opinion, whether I think you should or shouldn't watch this anime. So basically a recommendation. And that's it for my system of reviewing things. If you liked what you see, please subscribe, like the video, comment. I'm always open to suggestions of anime that you would like me to review. I probably will if you just leave a comment. There are certain anime that I will not review because I just cannot stand those genres. I will let you know if I will not review an anime. So that's it. Until next time, see ya.